Hi,
Hi,
Betty.
Don.
Hi,
Hi,
Betty.
Don. Hi, John.
Hi.
Okay, you're being live streamed. Sorted.
Terry, you didn't send out anything revisions like to Amy's or,
No,
okay. I guess I was thinking you'd do it once after we got through today.
yeah, and David just sent me his stuff a little while ago.
Yeah,
He put who the dues were to. He changed the training and I changed the Verizon to taking Brian's phone out of there.
Okay.
what the training go to? $12,960.
Oh,
No, that's significant.
yeah.
Yeah, he took the 17,280 and multiplied it by 75%.
So what was it, 12,690? Is that what you said?
12,690. And I changed the Verizon phone to 2,412.
So did you get anything from Amy on the billing?
Nope.
$2,004.
It's $201 a month. Without Brian's phone.
They took training down to 12,000.
Yeah, 12,000. 12,960.
Oh, 960 or 690?
960.
Okay.
Did I say 690? I could have.
Either I wrote it down backwards or you said it backwards. I'm not sure. Okay, I got 3:30, so we'll go ahead and call this budget workshop meeting to order. Any adjustments to the agenda, John?
No,
Sue?
No,
And no public to comment. We don't have anybody on Zoom.
I thought Betty on Zoom or in the room? Oh, she's
No,
in the
she's in
room.
the
I'm
room.
in the room. Where are you?
I'm in Georgia.
I know.
I just want to remind you, I need to leave at 5:30.
Yep. And were we going to, it says review prior meeting minutes? Am I looking at the right?
Oh, I probably didn't take that out.
Okay, so we'll scratch that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I
So
have that on mine too.
first one up is public safety, Betty.
Yay, ho.
And John, that's 758 on page 22. in my
Thank you.
book.
Thank you.
Easy peasy. My budget's the same as it was last year. I should have hit you guys up for 5,000 more for the reserve, but I didn't do it. But John could have used that money for debris removal. That's one of the reasons why that reserve was set up. But he chose not to.
Yeah. So the salaries and stipends, 8.7.
Yep. Yep.
what is ACO?
Animal control officer.
Okay,
And
Yeah, Sue, this isn't just Betty's. There's other stuff in there.
okay.
right, yeah,
The big nut here is the dispatching fee.
yeah, and yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to point out. The only other change to last year, the only other increase is the $5,000 increase in dispatching fee, and that's a guess right now, right?
Yeah, it was in their draft budget. So
Yeah.
The 5104,054 is a guess.
55.
60.
Oh, 54.
5560 dispatching fee. Well, no, that'll actually be the one, right? Because they're on,
It's the last one I got from them.
yeah, so they're January to December. So the dispatching fee,
We pay it in,
September, right?
yeah, we pay it one time, right?
yeah,
So, yeah, so it should be good.
Can I
Nope.
throw out a question to Terry?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Terry, I see the boarding fee actual says 1636, but you'll look,
we pay it quarterly,
okay, so there's 3/4 in there?
yeah.
Okay. And also with, I thought we had a discussion, Cliff didn't want his salary or something like that, or did we ever finalize that discussion? Didn't we agree to pay him $100 a year?
Right, but doesn't he want the rest of it to set up his
Right.
stuff?
Yeah, but we wouldn't put it under salary, would we? Wouldn't we put it under,
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
we
'cause
put
you
it
would-
under like, I don't know, dues or something, or fees, or something
Okay.
like that. And
Okay,
that would lower the FICA a little bit too. I'm squeezing for every dollar.
I can see that, John. Okay, so I'll make a fees under, I'll put it under, I'll move it and leave $100 for ACO.
yeah,
That was my recollection.
No.
that was my understanding too.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what that saves us, $10?
$2,000 at some.
No, I mean, in the fight, the only thing that's gonna lower it is the FICA, but
Right, yeah, but
I have a question. Terry, do you still have $300 in for generator?
Yeah,
You can take that out because the generator is now property of the fire department and they get to pay for the gas.
good point.
so nobody's claiming mileage?
no,
Nah.
The ACO doesn't?
no,
Well, I think we ought to give him mileage for last year.
well, the ACO had, oh, no, he did have mileage in 21, 22. What, $175 is that one?
There were no actuals, right?
Yeah,
I don't see the 125.
No, it was from the prior years,
yeah, and yeah, it was budgeted, but not spent, so.
Yeah,
225.
okay, that was the 18-month year,
Yeah, and then it was 150 for 22, 23.
but he's not claiming any mileage, right? And neither is Betty and neither is, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, and everybody zeroed it out this year for this budget.
But did they or did you, Terry?
I did. Betty didn't, said she didn't want any. I think the agreement with the ACO was we gave him the raise to match house head, and I don't think,
Oh, I think you're right. He didn't want to keep track of it.
yeah,
He doesn't like doing.
Well,
doesn't like paperwork.
Right.
well, and if they're not getting reimbursed for it, it is a deductible on their taxes, so it might be to their advantage not to get reimbursed for it.
And not to keep track of it.
Yeah,
So
because then
actually-
you can just use a flat rate with the IRS, so.
I can get rid of those the E911 mileage and the ACO dues line if they're not gonna use them and
Yeah,
pretty it up a little.
yep, yeah. Good call. Okay, so it's gonna be something less than $73,149 as a total.
So
I move approval as adjusted by Terry.
I'll second that.
And moved in second, any further discussion? You said 72,900.
72,958.
Oh, so we about $150 and. Oh, 200.
Well, I'll amend my motion then. Is that what you have, Terry?
I have 72,958. We took out the 300.
Oh, that's right. That's okay. That's the other thing I didn't get. Okay, 72,958, John.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We approve it at 72,958.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
John?
Aye, John.
Aye, Jeff. Okay. Thanks for coming in, Betty.
Wow, I love
Oh,
these.
no, we need to do the reserve, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do.
Are you gonna increase my reserve for me? I would love it if you would.
No, we might decrease it, so stay there.
Hey, no, you don't get to decrease it. No decreasing allowed. Unless you're gonna use it for something very, 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 very important.
I don't see any money in it.
She didn't want any put in it.
I didn't,
Okay.
I didn't put any request in, but
Okay, so we can't reduce it.
That's why she's saying feel free to add to it.
yeah, feel
Yeah.
free to add to it if you like. I would appreciate it.
I'm good.
There's 26,000 in it now.
Why don't you increase it to 30?
I'm good with 0.
Yeah, I'm good with 0 too.
All right,
got-
then I'm gonna hit you up next year then.
I'll move that we accept the department head's recommendation of 0.
I said 4,000. Good try, John, good try.
There's a second.
I'll second that. I
Okay.
didn't know if he was serious or not.
Yes, he was.
No, I was.
All right.
Any further discussion?
Paul,
Fine. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
John, I.
Jeff, aye.
Thank you,
All right.
Betty.
Now, thank
okay, I'm gonna hit you up for twice that much next year.
Twice.
All right, have a good day, you guys.
you did hear her say part of that was for debris removal for the road commissioner, right?
Yeah, I did. We actually had a little this year, but never mind. We're good.
Okay.
It was only 2,000.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Been real.
Okay, now to the next one.
Alonzo.
Town roads.
Why can't I find it? I did it. Oh, there it is. Okay, I put the road commissioner's salary at $100. I would like to continue doing this for the near future, but I do plan on running for a select board member again, but if I don't get elected and you guys see fit to appoint me, I do think that I should be paid a little something for just kind of to be on the town's insurance rolls. And if you're not interested in me continuing, then perhaps we need to adjust that number back up to where it is or whatever we're gonna do, but so anyways, that's how I put it. I did throw in a couple $1,000 and I think we could probably lower that now that I think about it to maybe 1,000 or even 500. Sometimes I was hoping to get somebody to assist me, but it seems as though Ralph's been doing that. And he does it and he bills me under his property maintenance company. So actually, I think we could even go to 0.
Okay, I'm for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I mean, it'll probably get spent by using Ralph, but okay. So I've got I know there's at least 2 culverts we need to do, and then one always seems to come up with a driveway somewhere or something. So I've got 14,000 there, which is the same as last year. I'd like to do some more ditching and berm removal. We did some this year. And I'd like to do some more. I got several sections at the bottom of Westbrook Street. And some more places on Westbrook, as well as Wadham's Beach. The bushing and limbing, I reduced that to 8,000. It was 14,400. It's only 2,800 now, but I anticipate we're going to do some more between now and July 1st. I think I'm hoping to spend that 14,400. We certainly got many places we can do it. So,
Good.
patching, kept the same. That actually maybe could go down a little if we actually do all the paving I'm talking about doing, but I'd like to leave it for now. Roadside mowing, I kept that the same. We probably will do another mowing before July 1st, so the actual should come up pretty close. Striping, that was on what I'm proposing to do is kind of tied into the paving, and it was on that schedule I sent you. Basically, if we get paving done on Island Road, it would be the striping from solid yellow only, no white, from the bridge on Sprucehead Island to Granite Street. Excuse me, on oh, that's wrong, actually. It's Island, it wouldn't be to Granite Street, it would be to intersection with Rockledge. I'll fix that. We don't need to do down the hill. I just copied it from above. And also the entire length of Westbrook and Waterman's. That's where that number comes from. I don't know why I zeroed out the miscellaneous, but we'll live with it. Loam and seed, that's kind of baked into the verming and the culvert. It's in kind of in those numbers. He doesn't really break it out on the bill, so. And the storm cleanup, I didn't budget anything there. We did charge $2,300 there after that big storm for cleaning up on Waterman and Pleasant Beach. When that happened, Betty and I actually looked at that, but I think we had to have a total of 28 in order to apply for FEMA. So, and like Betty said, that if we have a big one, we can take it out of that reserve, because that's kind of one of the things that was used for in the EMA budget. So I didn't put anything there. Workers' comp and stuff kind of is what it is, and the insurance.
John, real quick.
Yeah.
On the striping.
Yeah.
I remember several years ago, we just did the center line for Westbrook, and we ended up getting a bunch of complaints about not having the white lines on the sides.
Yeah.
And we ended up going back and restriping it. Although me personally, I prefer the line in the middle, but for some reason there were folks that wanted the white lines on the sides.
Yeah, I know. To be honest with you, if I was going to do the white lines anywhere, I'd do them on the Island Road, because they're already there to the bridge. And that's where you get a lot of fog. I think
Right.
a lot more fog and stuff than you do on, well, I think you could make the same argument on Waterman's Beach, but that doesn't seem to be quite as fast, the traffic there.
Right.
I mean, I don't care if you want to, it just costs money.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that you had considered it.
No, I
And-
really hadn't. I mean, a lot of towns don't stripe any town.
Yeah, no. Yeah, let's just leave it with centerline and see how that goes.
Yeah, I think personally, the most important line in town on a road is the yellow solid stripe on Westbrook.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I was
No.
surprised. You know what, to be frank, what I think it is, some of the new vehicles that, have lane assist.
Yeah,
they look at that white line on the side. That's one
Well,
of
that
the,
could be, yeah,
so I think that's what caught, but I don't know that for sure.
yeah.
Let's leave it and see if we get an uproar.
Well, we can talk with the budget committee too.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, we can always revise the select board's numbers based on, you know, our discussions with the budget committee, because a lot of times we negotiate, so to speak, with them and in
Yep.
order to come up with the same number. Sometimes we don't, but okay, signs, I budgeted the same. We're pretty much spent on that. I do have a few in stock, not many. I have some posts and stuff. Culverts themselves. And the way I've been doing is actually buying the culvert from Viking or Spear and having them deliver it. And that way we don't get charged for the contractor to go pick it up, and except when I screw up and don't get an estimate from a local contractor.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you know, Viking will deliver for nothing, so. And they usually will do it the next day. I got $500 in there for miscellaneous. I didn't spend much this year, but last year I did buy like 100-foot roll tape measuring thing, you know, a roller measure and a spray can thing. And if I'm going to continue to do this, I probably should get a vest.
Yeah.
And a few other things. So, and I also, if I'm going to continue to do this, I'm thinking somebody was telling me that I probably should get one of those plug-in yellow lights on my truck.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
and, you know, can always use a few cones, maybe here and there. I have a couple that Hager left behind. I called him about it. He said, oh yeah, we'll get them someday, but they never did. So, but, okay. So I'm gonna jump, if I can, to the snowplow contract. Carrie, you double check that?
Yes,
Okay. So then the big nut here is really on the paving and the road in general, and the road improvement in paving. And if we could jump to that other sheet that I sent attached to this, do you guys all have that?
Paving schedule says.
Yeah,
summer
yeah,
23.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So this gets a little confusing because, you know, for a number of reasons. Number one is I don't know when these paving contracts are gonna do these projects, whether they're gonna try to do them, some of them before July 1st, which means they're in the wrong budget, or after July 1st. And the state's gonna be doing a lot of paving, from what I understand. So I'm not sure how much capacity there is going to be out there. And then, of course, you got the whole issue of volatility and prices in fuel and asphalt. So I just took the best whack at it that I could, but I mean, it's really tough to pin anything down. But my priority would be, and I think we were going to do this last year, would be to pave from the bridge on Island Road, where we kind of left off this year, to Granite Street, down below the co-op in Atwoods. Then my next priority, because I think it's really bad, but the first 200 feet of Rockledge Road is really rough. I don't know, Sue, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
And if they're going to be right there doing Island Road, it doesn't make any sense not to go up there a couple hundred feet. And it doesn't go to my house, so it's short of there. I'd like, the next priority would be to finish the Stump Dump Road. That's really, you know, that gets a lot of heavy traffic between the sand hauling going in there and the people coming in to get the cans from the demo facility, and it's really kind of alligator and cracking. And I think if we're gonna save that road, we need to do that. I probably have these two reversed. I probably would Village would be my priority before Chapel. Chapel doesn't get a lot of traffic, Village does. And also, I'm thinking that if we're gonna do Island Road, we might be able to get it a little cheaper if we bundle it with Village. And then this is the big one, which I think could be a throwaway. Westbrook's, just spent a couple minutes on it. It's from 131 in to where they left off in 2018 is in worse shape. Although if you go out closer, you get to 131, it's not too bad. But there's a couple of sections in there in those low points where the road, and I don't know if we talked about this before, but the road is really kind of spreading. And everybody I've talked to have said you're kind of throwing your money away just by paving that. They said those areas really, you should kind of reclaim them, which basically means chew it up and regrade it, recompact it, and then put a base pavement binder down, which is like 2.5 or 3 inches thick. And then overlay it either this year or maybe even the next year, let it settle for a year. So I've kind of got all of that in here. And I don't know that we need to do it all. But I do think it would be nice to do the reclaim work and get the binder down. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure how this all fits in our budget. I think we could just even live with that if we had to, which would knock off 154,000. But in some ways, it'd be nice to get it all done. But so that's the proposal on what I'm thinking about doing. If we can get someone to do it, and I have no idea if 115 a ton is high or low, and I won't know that. And they're all, when they're bidding projects, they're all putting these escalator clauses in. So it's really hard to tie it down. But on the funding side, we have 72,000 that we didn't spend this year. So I would propose that if we don't spend that before July 1st, we carry that forward. And if we do spend it before July 1st, that'll do some of it. And maybe we could do the Island Road and Rockledge and use that and use a little from surplus if we could get it done before July 1st. We'll have to feel that out as we go. And then I'm proposing using all of the reserve. So for lack of a better word, the total new dollars after the carry forward of 72 and the reserve of 111 is 231 under this proposed scenario. So I was even thinking that maybe we could, if that's too rich for the budget, we could cut something out, or we could maybe do it and borrow half of the 231 in the following year or something along those lines. So that's kind of my thinking. So questions, comments?
So you're thinking about maybe doing half of that in 24 and then the other half in 25? Is that what
Well,
you're?
I'm not thinking of doing the paving that way. I was thinking of maybe borrowing from ourselves, fund half of it in this budget coming up, and then borrow from ourselves and then pay ourselves back in the next year. Or borrow from the bank, whatever, but borrow. But I think it all somewhat depends on where we stand with the overall budget too. And we're not there yet.
Right.
And also, maybe, fuels come down, maybe we'll get lucky and 115 will be high. 115 a ton. That would be nice, but maybe it'll be low. And it also depends on when they do it. I remember last year in the beginning when the paving plants first opened up, they were talking like 75 a ton, and then within the course of 2 months, it jumped to 120.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and again, they're not gonna bid without an escalator clause. They pretty much all made that clear to me.
Yeah, they're doing the
That-
same thing on all trucking contracts as well.
Yeah, they just can't afford to eat it if it jumps from $78 a ton to 120 a ton, you know, so. So, but I mean, at a minimum, I want to definitely do Island Road, the 200 feet on Rockledge Road and the Stump Dump Road. At an absolute minimum.
But that's out of this year's budget, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the Stump Dump wouldn't be. I was thinking that if we could get someone early, maybe we could do, take the 72 that we have left over, because that would be what, about 131, assuming the numbers are real. You know, maybe we could, you know, spend the 72 and grab some out of surplus and, I don't know. It's just such a volatile situation. And you got this damn July 1st date that I don't, you know what I mean? And the other thinking that I got is I know the state is gonna be doing a ton of paving. And I think that, you know, that's gonna drive the, I talked to the guy at the local road center. The thinking is that's gonna drive up the cost of, bids to municipalities. Even if asphalt doesn't rise crazily. So.
Yep.
So it's a crapshoot. I'm sorry, but there's just so many variables.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very, very significant jump.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought if we could maybe spread that new money over 2 years. The new money being 231, if we could spread that, you know, like 115 this year and 115 next year, that not actually doing it, but you know. You know, the other thing we could do is, I think it would be okay, and I know in Rockport, they reclaimed a section of roads. And they actually do let it sit for a year to settle. So the other thing we could do is just defer the Westbrook. I mean, do the reclaim project on Westbrook, but defer the 154 to the following year. And because that, you know, you'd have that base pavement down in those two sections. And the rest of the road is not too bad. Once you get through those two low sections, you know what I'm talking about?
And that would get us a little closer to what it was. The overall budget was last year.
Well, if we took out 154,
Yeah, that'd be.
but I mean, again,
380.
I don't know. Island Road could end up being 140 for all I know. Or it could end up being 80.
I think that's what I'd like to do is plan to do the 154 the following year and pull that out of this budget.
I'm good with that. I think
Yeah.
we can live with that. I mean, it's, you know, we got patching money and stuff. I'm just trying, you know, I was trying to give you guys a sense of, you know, but just remember too, though, come the following year, we probably got a couple of other roads that are, you know, I think they're, I don't know, Waterman's Beach, I can't remember. I don't think that's too bad, but, Bartlett Lane's in tough shape, but I don't want to pave anything there until Travis Wilson is out of there.
Yeah, I agree.
All those heavy trucks going over there. But there's another road too. I can't think of it. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at the roads in Cheryl's subdivision, but I kind of forgot, those are our responsibility now too. I never go up there. You know what I mean? What is it, Brookside and,
Norton Drive.
no,
I'm
no,
looking.
not Norton.
That's my problem.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Most of those roads on that street are.
Oh,
But I'm good with that for an initial plan. I do think I probably would still stripe a good section of Westbrook though,
Yeah, I agree with that.
even though people will say, why'd you stripe over that old pavement?
Okay, so that, I think that'll bring it down from through 539. 732, is that the number?
are you
Yeah.
taking the
Taking,
154 out of the paving general?
yes, 154, 215.
And we took out a few bucks up above.
154, 215, that
Yep.
equals 113, 561.
What? 113.
Or you have 339, 819, right? And then you're taking out the 154, 215, is
I
that what
had-
you just did?
Am I on the wrong line?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Oh, you're looking at just the paving general line, right?
Right,
Okay,
All right, that goes to what?
well, no, I
Yeah.
I X back out, so I don't
I
know.
think you're right.
So I'm taking out of the paving general line.
One.
You should subtract the 154,215 from the 267,776 from the general
Yeah,
paving line.
That's what I did, and everyone was shocked.
yeah, that's because we were looking at a different line.
I was looking at.
Yeah, so 113, 561.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it makes the
Oops.
line one, the paving 20 line, 188, 561. And the total is 383, 364.
And that includes striking the 2,000 from the other.
383, 64.
That includes. We did something up here. What did we do up here?
We took 2,000
We
from,
took 2,000 out of the wages and a little bit of FICA, of course.
Yeah, we took 2,000 and so that made the FICA $8.
okay, so what was the total again? One more time.
383, 364.
The grand total,
Yep,
Yeah, that's good.
give it to me, 383,
383, 364.
364.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a $25,000, $27,000 increase. So that's a reasonable increase for doing all the plowing or all the paving that we're gonna do. That makes,
Not to complicate this, but the other option is just do an overlay on Westbrook and not do the reclaim, or do an overlay on the bad part of Westbrook and not do a reclaim. But everybody I talk to, from Andrew Hedrick to the guys at Hager, they say you're throwing your money away. So,
yeah, and I agree with that. You can do, you know, an inch and a half overlay for years, but once it starts cracking down below, you've got to start reclaiming and going deeper.
yeah, I mean, it's just kind of squishing out to the sides and
Yeah.
and there's some deep potholes that develop there, and it just needs some base work.
I think that's a good plan, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna abstain on voting on this,
Okay,
so I won't make a motion.
so Sue, you want to make the motion? I'll second it.
So I make a motion that we accept this budget as amended to 383, 364.
I second that. Any further discussion? Sue
No,
and John? Abstaining?
I'm gonna abstain though.
Jeff, yes. 201. Okay. Solid waste. Should be the next. Before we started, I do have a question. Because I haven't asked it of the solid waste board. How did they handle the shift? From doing it January to December and now doing it June to July? Did they already send you this, what we're in right now?
Yeah,
Okay, so you already have a budget basically for
till June 30th.
till June 30th.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, good.
So that number 205,777 is a solid number.
It's not solid yet, and I think actually the number is going to be, let's see. Right now, my cut on it, and again, we have not discussed this as a board yet, and we're supposed to do that tonight. But I think actually it's going to be 20. If I can read my own writing, I think it's 206,953. So if you put 207 in it, we should be good at it. Would you put in 205? Yeah, make it 207.
okay.
I have not seen the actual information yet, and I'm not sure how we're paying for the renovations that are going on there. But everything else, I've got good numbers for, so that number should be very close. So we've got 8.7 for the operator.
Yes,
And do we carry? The attendant? No. Don't we have an overseer or
Phil's the operator.
that's Phil's, okay. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
but we're not paying him. I mean, when we didn't pay him at all for the longest time, and now we're not even paying him anywhere near that amount. But I think we should keep that because I think we might find somebody might take that over.
Yeah,
Particularly if Hannah leaves. You know. I think until we sort that out, we should keep that number personally.
I agree.
So the attendant just has the 8.7. And I left the other wages in there. Someday we might find someone that's willing to go out there and help
Yeah,
with the fires and stay there all night.
Well, and also, if Dana's not there, we might be able to hire somebody to go out for a couple of days or something. I mean, he's been incredibly reliable.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think I remember him calling once. He said, I'm in the hospital, I can't come.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's been incredibly reliable, but I mean, yeah, if we gotta hire someone, I don't want to go stand out there all day long on a Saturday. And I mean, maybe we could get someone, but we're gonna have something to pay them.
oh, and we've got a fire watch line on here as
Yeah, we
well.
do.
Yeah, do we need that? I guess maybe, but I mean, basically Dana and I have been doing it.
And the
We can't get the fire, but none of the fire guys will do it. But maybe a couple of these young guys would, they might be interested in a few bucks or
I do
something.
it with a different chief asking.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
I mean, because believe me, it's nothing I like doing. You gotta stay out there on a rainy day for 10 hours. I've done it 3 times now, and the next day I have a wicked cough.
The roll off and the push down, those went down from our last year's budget. Are those anticipating actual numbers or?
Well, I took, oops, wrong one. I figured averaging the last couple
Oh.
of years, it would have 78 trips. And then 360 of roll off. And then their escalator was 6.5% in our budget, I mean, in our contract with them. So that's what I came up with.
Okay,
You know, all of a sudden, we could have 20 people decide they're gonna
right, yeah.
do some
yeah.
major tearing down or something, and we wouldn't have enough.
Okay,
So, I mean, we could throw a little more in there.
I'm good with this, actually. I mean, if you look at.
You know, when they're pushing the can down, we don't have Jerry doing it anymore for
Right.
$30, and it costs $700 each month for Jimmy to do it.
Well, it isn't just pushing the can down. I mean, that's the bulk of it, but they also, they push up the brush pile and, blah, 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 so.
It's still what Jerry did for 30.
Right, right.
So that kind of hurts a little bit. And the rentals are 150 each.
Per month. Is that,
What's that?
The rentals.
Yeah. Can we jump back to contracts? No, never mind. When we get the supplies, I want to talk to something or equipment, maybe.
Yeah, right now supplies are 0, right? And so's equipment.
Yeah, well, we need a couple of new gates. They're getting pretty shabby.
Oh.
I don't know how much they are, but I would ask that if Terry could maybe have Phil measure the gate and call Tractor Supply. They got them over there. They're not much. They're like $250 each or something like that, or Terry, I think we bought a couple this year. You might be able to just pull the invoice and look.
I thought we bought some.
Yeah, but those are probably a little longer than you need there. I think, so probably the best thing is to measure the 2 that are in front of the roll-off bin and then call Tractor Supply. I bet they're not more than $400, but they're getting pretty rough. Actually, do we have the money to buy them this year?
Well, we could.
Yeah,
Well, we got those other wages. We haven't used anything. Not that we would,
Sure,
huh?
I'm sure we could.
Oh,
buy
yeah,
them.
we got the operator's stipend. Not that we record it there, but the funds are
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So why don't we just do that this year then?
Okay.
good.
Terry?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'll talk about it when I get back. No big deal.
When I was working on this budget, and I got to supplies, I'm like, what is Danny use the toilet paper towels out there? He's never, ever. No one's ever given him any.
is there a porta potty out there?
There's an outhouse. So we picked him up a box with toilet paper.
I was gonna
paper
say, you
towels,
shouldn't
and
have to bring
hand sanitizer. It's just something I never thought of it,
Yeah,
so.
Well, it's funny too.
Hey, somebody think about it.
go ahead,
I've
John.
been out there a few times and people have actually brought them lunch. They just give them a sandwich or something. It's kind of funny.
Yep.
I don't think they bring them toilet paper.
Well, we took some up to him, kind of funny. It's not, I feel bad that all these years he's just been bringing it home. He's
Yeah.
got every years that, I mean, Cheryl had the outhouse built, and that was a long.
Yeah, that was a better one.
So do we have a new total?
I haven't moved numbers over yet. Yeah. Does everything else look okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that your ferocious dog, John?
Yes, they just came, they were upstairs, Leslie was reading and they just came bounding down. We have the doors, here it's nice and warm up there today.
It is.
Beautiful.
Well, I'll move whatever the new number is.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the new number is. That doesn't make sense. What did I missed something, because I had 279. 279, that can't be, because that number didn't add up.
Yeah, I get 315,665 as
I
a
had
total.
314,760. But maybe something didn't follow.
Yeah, because the only thing we did was,
Oh, right here, this didn't, yeah, I found it.
We really got to think about an alternative to burning brush too.
What's the total, Jerry?
It's $7 and.
yeah, I agree with you, John.
314,767, Jeff.
I got 315. Right, we went from 205,777
Right, 207.
207. So that's 1,223 on top of what, right? That should be that's the only change we made. So that's,
Okay, what's not adding up here? In my spreadsheet. Somewhere along the line.
566.
That's what I have on my.
Hey, John? Did you
Yeah.
get it?
What do you get?
I wasn't working on it, sorry.
Oh, 315,665.
Okay, I'll move, we approve 315,665.
I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
John?
John, I.
Jeff, aye. All right, building and grounds.
Anybody have a page number?
Yeah, we're
9. I got it. Terry, can I ask a question about the wages?
Yep.
The 1998, that's the number that currently you're paying to Hannah, is that the same that she gets now in her job or next year in her job?
That's what she will get when we have the,
Okay, so it's not what we were paying Donna.
no,
Okay. Is that more or less than we were paying Donna?
more.
Okay, so if Hannah can't stop doing this, that'll help us maybe find it a little easier to find someone, but
You're not gonna find anyone to clean for less than this, honestly, and do a good job.
no, I know. That's why I'm saying, I'm glad it's the higher of the two.
So the other person didn't work out.
No, Nikki?
Yeah.
No. No, she's not. No,
And my other question is this throwing Hannah into overtime?
no, she does, it's 3 hours a week.
Okay, so it keeps her just under the 40. Yeah.
And if it comes someday, some week that it's gonna make, I know it's gonna make her go over, I'll just have her leave early. She's fine with that. She does a really, really good job. And what, did I tell you we're getting the floors done?
I
Yeah.
thought. I
Okay.
saw
Are you
something
doing
in the
downstairs
email.
too?
Yeah,
Oh, we're not, but we can see about that.
Yeah, I
I
think
can
it's a
see
good
about that.
idea. Yeah.
stripped and waxed.
Yeah. And once that's done, I know she'll keep it still.
It'll be a lot easier to keep clean once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's.
It's hard to do when it's hard to tell the difference
Yeah.
when you watch it, because it's so dingy.
So contract services went down significant. What am I?
We had there, we paid the fire department parking lot.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay.
And we're actually, under those actuals, we're actually holding $5,000. We didn't pay that bill in full. Performance knows that because they're supposed to come back. Two things, they're supposed to come back in the spring and fix in front of the doors. They sort of temporarily fixed it. And they also did a little damage to the building. So we probably should remember about that 5,000. And carry it forward, because the idea was, well, two things, but.
And PDQ, we've got a contract with them right now for regular maintenance and then repairs as necessary.
Is that a monthly thing?
No, so yearly.
So how come it's 909, the actuals?
Well, actually, we don't pay for a contract with them. We sign a contract with them. They come down and make sure everything fits their specifications that's set up. And they tell us what needs to be fixed.
Yeah, okay,
Good.
yeah. So, I don't have a question on anything else, except I'm gonna go back to my soapbox again. We have under facility maintenance, $6,000, and then we have under unanticipated $5,000. And I don't understand the difference between those two. Unless you tell me I'm wrong, Terry, all of that money's for unanticipated. Unless you got,
At this point, because we don't have a list of
right,
maintenance we want done.
so my preference would be to just plump that into one line.
Which one would you like to be under?
Well, I mean, that's just me. I don't know about Jeff or Sue.
No, I
It makes
agree.
sense.
I,
Put it all under maintenance.
Yeah, I just put facility maintenance and just lump it under there, and it's all, at this point, unanticipated. And if we're anticipating it, we would list it.
So make that 11,000. Or do we need?
Actually, I was gonna say make it 10.
Okay,
Just to sweeten the pot.
yeah, I like that. The other thing is that. Am I missing? Did we separate out Guilford Butler?
Guilford Butler, the electricity and phone are separated on the fuel.
Yeah, I think somewhere, and this is more for the budget committee, because they're gonna ask.
yeah,
I think there's a couple places we have Guilford Butler expenses, not just in buildings and grounds, but if we can have somewhere in one of the notes, Guilford Butler
the
total,
cost,
total,
yeah.
total budgeted, total expended, and and what we're anticipating for the budget. So
Okay.
if we pull everything from wherever they are,
But I don't think there's anything under this contracted services, because everything we've done so far, I believe we've taken out of that 20,000. Or offer.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the general day-to-day bills that are spread out a little bit. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, underneath, there's the sprinkler testing system and eco security that are Guilford Butler under contracted services.
Oh,
Oh,
there
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Okay. But was that done this year under the actuals?
Yes,
Okay, so there are some things in there.
yeah,
Yeah, I personally, I didn't like the idea of having a separate line for Guilford Butler. I mean, we have electricity at the salt shed, we have it at the old library. I would like to see it just all put together, but I like Jeff's idea of having a backup sheet that shows what was attributable of that amount to Guilford Butler.
Yeah, I would, yeah, you said it much better than I did. I think where we have it right now is where it ought to stay, but I think we need something when the question gets asked, and
And
it
it
will be, to say everything we budgeted last year for Guilford Butler is this, everything that we spent on it was this, and this is what we anticipate in this year's budget for Guilford Butler. So it's and a summary sheet, a separate sheet would be just as good.
okay, I can work on that.
Okay, so what I hear is that we trimmed $1,000 off of that budget to 73,405.
Do we have enough in the phone, Terry, to? I don't suppose you've had a chance to meet with Walter.
I emailed him and he emailed back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said he didn't really know a lot about it, but he'd see what he could find out about it.
So he's willing to help out?
Yep.
Well, okay. So I'll make a motion. We approve it in an amount of 73,405. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
I'll second that.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
John?
John, I.
Jeff, I. Okay, town landing. Next one.
I'd like to under contract services, I don't know if it's miscellaneous or not, but no, under repairs, I'd like to increase that by about $3,500. We have 2 or 3 of those cement piers that as you go down the ramp that are really in bad shape, and the rebars and a couple of them are sticking up. Actually, I already went down there and cut one of them off because it was dangerous. And I talked briefly to Jimmy about it. He thought that that would be more than enough to handle it. And as you know, this comes out of the reserve anyway. So if we spend, if it's only $2,000, we wouldn't take it out of the reserve. So it has no impact on the tax, if you know what I'm talking about, Jeff. I don't know if Sue does, but.
What did you repair, John?
Huh?
What did you want to repair or just wanted to put it in the notes?
There's at least 2, maybe 3 of those cement pads that make up the ramp. They're connected together and they have rebars in them, and they're just corroded away with age from the salt water. And some of the rebars, a couple of them were sticking up, and they're kind of dangerous if your kid fell on them or if I fell on them. You could trip over them, and it's just time to replace a couple of those, in my opinion. And again, since this comes out of the reserve, you know, it doesn't really impact the tax.
As long as we get 6,500 from boat excise tax. Or anticipate getting 6,500 from boat excise tax, which is close. I think we usually figure 7 somewhere around.
Yeah, but we got a lot more than that. We got 150 in there.
Oh, yeah, we can take it. Yeah, that's right. We can take it from it. That's
Yeah.
right. So no impact on our
So this will all come from reserve, is that
uh,
what you're saying, or no?
reserve or excise tax first, then reserve.
Boat excise.
Yes, boat excise. So that's 64.56. The only other thing was striping down there in the parking lot. Did you do that, John, or
No,
did you? Yeah,
I called is it a Delphi?
the Dolphin.
Dolphin,
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, because it definitely needs it.
oh, does it? Okay, I hadn't even really looked at that. And the other comment I wanted to make is Walter had sent us an email asking us to maybe dust off, was we had this budget discussion to kind of dust off that preliminary plan to make some improvements down there. I don't think we need to put that in the budget because I think that if we, and I agree that we should dust that off and work on it, although I don't agree with the current conceptual vision. I do think we should do something down there though, and we have all that granite out back saved. That was the idea. It's out by the stump dump to kind of, firm that up around the side there, which would of course require all kinds of permits and stuff, but I don't think we need to address that in this budget. I mean, I think we would fund that either partially out of that reserve fund or with a water harbor, those harbor improvement grants, which let you, improve piers and stuff. So why I think it's a good idea, and I agree with Walter, I don't think it really impacts this budget.
I agree, but I do think it's a good time to address it with the budget committee, just to gauge their feeling on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
I just,
when they
I,
threw it last time, there was mixed feelings from the budget committee on it. But I think the only reason they pulled it off the table was they just had a whole bunch of things going on at the same time, and they just wanted, it was the solid waste. I mean, there were several things that they were dealing with, and they didn't want.
yeah, the Island Road project and
The Island Road.
and the person who was kind of the champion of it, Jan, left the board,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
And also, I want to repeat, I am not in favor of the vision that was sort of laid out in Lewandowski's first run at it, personally. I mean, they talked about moving the memorial and if I recall correctly, and the yellow submarine over to the other park where the picnic tables are.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if we can do that. I don't think anybody's researched what, I thought that was left as some sort of, in the back of my head, I thought it was some sort of veterans thing or something, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them were veterans, but they were memorials, and so I think we'd be obliged to include those two groups in the discussion of moving them.
Whatever, I can't remember what it was, but
and as I recall from it, and I don't want to get too far astray here, but
right,
they had two objectives. One was to put in an additional float, modify them so that one of them was handicap accessible, and then increase the number of parking spaces. I think that was those were the two things that they were
yeah.
overall.
Well, and the other idea I thought was to sort of rebuild the seawall around the Graves property with that granite.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was definitely part of it to increase the parking space, but I agree. I think we probably ought to start thinking about it. But I agree with you. I don't think it should go into this year's budget. So do I have a motion for 6456?
64.56.
I don't get 64.56.
Oh,
Hmm.
we added
I
30.
get 54.56. Is that what you
I
said?
have 79.56. It was 49.56,
Yeah, okay.
and we added.
We added 35 to the repairs.
what
Did you want to make the
Oh.
repairs 35 or add 35, John?
No, I think you can just make them 35,
Make it
so
35.
add 3,000.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I just quickly thought of this and gave Jimmy a call, and it's a little bit on the fly.
Okay, so, all right, so we made the 500 becomes 3,500.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I really, I don't know whether we need to do 2, 3, 4. We can talk about that when we firm it up a little.
Okay, so it's 7,956. Right.
So moved. Approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Because they're gonna make the minutes really easy.
Okay. Administration, do we want to knock out conservation and then
Well,
in
he's
capital?
supposed to be here at 5 to do his,
This conservation one.
yeah.
Well, we can go back to debt service and knock that off. Because we
Yeah.
tabled that. And now we don't need to table it.
Oh,
We have capital too,
yeah.
administration, capital and debt service. Do we need to go back to David's or is that just, okay?
Oh, I think we need to go back and
No,
approve it.
Yeah, we tabled it last time, so we would have to go.
Amy's we approved with your changes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll make a motion that we approve debt services in the amount of 66,300.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Yeah,
What
All
was the
those-
number, John? 60?
The same as you had.
Same as half.
Yeah, we just tabled it because we're gonna have to talk about roads.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
John?
John.
Hi, Jeff. All right. You want to do? Well, what do you want to do? You want to do capital or?
Well, it's up to you.
Yeah,
Capital might be a discussion.
yeah, you're right. Okay, sir.
I have a total be $588 request.
Okay.
But not 70 off the top. Henry Spencer for the Conservation Commission.
Welcome, Henry.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay, let's see if I can find what page your huge $500.
Two.
Page 2. Okay.
Do.
Conservation Commission?
Yes, yeah, and according to Terry, the top figure 70
I have
is
two.
a one-time expense, and so we don't have to carry that over.
Okay,
So essentially, I want to gloss that one out, and that'll reduce
And they're
to $518.
well, I show
This is
500.
what you do myself.
Oh, right, I'm looking at a copy that I sent in, and probably that was before that, so you're listed at 518, so the 70 won't even be in there, all right. So, Maine Association of Conservation Commission dues is $100.
I've got speaker fees at 150.
Yes, okay.
That's good.
Your order with speaker fees at 150, gratuity and conference space costs. One of the things that we've done is we've started to do, invite speakers in, and we've had really good response. Anywhere up to 25 people in the room and, 25, 30 people on Zoom.
Good.
On the invasive species and things like that. And one of the things that occurs to us is it's kind of nice to be able to offer the speaker at least to pay for their gas to get here, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what that's for.
Perfect.
And we do have lots of plans on speakers coming up. It's one of the things we're putting a lot of effort into. What's the next on your list?
The dues, MEACC dues.
Associate Conservation Commission dues, yeah.
Okay.
That just is a flat $100.
Okay,
We can't do anything about that. Then I have it listed as $18 insurance for 7 commissioners and 2 associate commissioners. I'm assuming that figure is correct. from the town. That's just basically, we were told we need to do that. Materials for roadside cleanup. One of the things we noticed with roadside cleanup is that the majority of the people are my age, you know, they're over 60 and bending over and picking up stuff. And I can get grabbers from Walmart or Amazon for like $12 a piece. And it would be nice to be able to buy, you know, maybe 10 of them or whatever I could get for $100.
Yep, good idea.
Can I ask, I can't hear very well. Could Henry come up to the table?
We're to come up, so this speaker like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Microphone right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, any question?
No, I'm
Okay,
good so
okay.
far. I mean, I think I got the gist of it, so.
Okay, so materials for roadside cleanup, we did that. I will say that currently we have sufficient bags and vests. And I think we have enough for more than a year, but and then material supplies for materials for roadside cleanup, whatever, and 150 material supplies for educational programs in the Carroll County Conference. Right now, it's moving along. We're trying to get together with the different conservation commissions from the county and have a general meeting just to see if there's any commonalities. You know, things like invasive species and stuff like that, so that we can start trying to really plan out speaker schedules and stuff like that. Educational supplies and programs. Some of that's going to be maps and stuff. I will say that from last year's budget, the one thing that we contracted for on it, but it hasn't come in yet, is we had these maps like this. We had 6 of them. They're similar to this in size. And we had 2 sets of them, and one of them we're going to cut out the South Thomaston town. It's about a 14-inch square, and have them mounted on a hard fiber board, not a foam core, because that'll curl. And that way, when we're sitting at a table trying to figure out where this piece of land is in association with wetlands or riparian areas or wildlife habitat and stuff like that, we can just sort of pass it around and look at it. It makes it a little simpler to deal with that, because we don't really have a place to display 6 big maps on the wall.
Right.
So that's kind of, part of what that is that that's money from last year's budget that we hadn't expended yet, but they're in the framers now. I ran into a problem. I didn't know that in November, they're too busy for Christmas orders, and then they were closed for a little while. So this is as soon as I could get it done. But I just want to let you all know that that's what we're doing.
Good.
So, I mean, overall, I really like the Conservation Commission. The first year, is figuring out what it was going to do and stuff. We have a full board, we have alternates, and we've got some real committed people on it. And we've been really, really happy with the response that we're getting when we do put on, talks and lectures and stuff like that. It's been pretty good. So, I mean, the way I look at that, I'm very cognizant about taxpayer money. And I do look at the money that the Conservation Commission is looking to do. This is the value to the community and the interest of the community. I think is worthwhile. The other thing on roadside cleanup that I didn't mention is part of that expense in 150 is they run about $12 a piece when you get small amounts. And what we're trying to, if we get the money, what we will order is like campaign signs.
Oh, good.
And say 4 of them will say what the date is and where to meet and all that kind of stuff, roadside cleanup, Earth Day. And then the rest of them will be, if you pick up stuff, you bring this sign with you and put it on the road while you're working. It just says, please drive carefully, roadside cleanup in process. I really feel that's kind of important, to let people know that please slow down and stuff. So
Especially the roads that you're doing most of the cleanups on are
twisty turning,
Yeah.
people like to drive at
and
55.
fast.
Yeah,
There you go. That's right. Good.
Not that I ever did. So that's pretty much the budget. As I said, I really do think the Conservation Commission's come up, it's going to be a good body in the town.
Good.
I gotta admit, one of my hopes is that some of the people that get on the Conservation Commission decide that they want to do something else in town.
All right.
And I'm still working, so I still have a gallery and I look at it sometimes. I spend a lot of time in municipal government and I gotta admit, I kind of enjoy it, but right now I'm just too busy,
So what's the bottom line?
$518.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve $518 request for Conservation Commission.
I second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions?
I'm all set.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
John,
Aye,
Jeff, I.
All right, well, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
people.
and thank you for coming by.
All right, and
Thank you for serving on the.
I do want, and I want to thank you all for what you're doing. I really do. I know what you all do and I know how much people appreciate it. So I want to say very definitely, thank you so much for what you do and good luck with the roads.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay.
Well, that was easy. Thank you.
Yeah. So Terry, you want to do administration or capital first?
Let's do administration, Jerry.
Okay. This should be page 1.
This is why I do it myself.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the salary stipends, I'll have the 1.8%. I just clicked on and double checked and made sure I did do them right. Try to sneak a little more money in there. Same with wages. I did move all of Phil's wages to here as opposed to having it under separate.
Do you remember what that difference was?
Oh, Terry, when you say all of his wages, that doesn't include his wages that we're charging for him being the operator out.
No, that's a whole different.
Yeah, okay. Well, you said all his wages, so I just wanted to make sure.
His wages from assessor I moved to here.
Yeah.
And what was your question, Joe?
Do you remember what that was before?
No, I don't.
It was under assessors, right?
It's on the assessor's budget.
Right. So 88,300. 85. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
The election clerks. Paying them $14. 14 hours and there's 4 of them and there's 2 elections. So I come up with 1560. And we didn't use that. We didn't use 4 people last time. We only used 2 because I was able to do it and Penny came in halftime, so it just, but I just don't know. We can't count on
Right.
knowing who's gonna be there.
So the only thing we have this year is the school budget and maybe a bond though, right?
Right, it'll be small elections.
Yeah, well, it could be a couple of referendum questions. Yeah, okay.
Health insurance,
Something's.
Something's not right.
Oh, wait a minute. There it is.
So Terry, you're gonna kill me.
yeah, okay.
I think that the proportion of your total salary between this and the CEO should be also divided on the benefits.
It should be divided on the what?
Well, I don't know what you make as CEO.
$2 and
How much?
$2 and something cents.
I got a jet going over, sorry.
Didn't we figure it to like $2 and something cents an hour?
No, a year.
Oh, I don't know. We just figured it for this last.
Whatever, I just feel that your health insurance and your retirement and everything else should be prorated in an equal amount,
Under CEO.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And I know that's a pain in the neck.
Yes, it is.
Oh, and
But let's say let's say your CEO is budgeted at $5,000. I don't know that it is, but just say it is, and your salary here is 71. Then you add those two together and, whatever percentage those two numbers are of that total, I think you should allocate the benefits that way too. And it might be a fair amount. I mean, we're kind of moving Phil back we probably should do the same thing to the other side, but I don't know if Jeff or Sue agree. I mean, where you may not be there forever.
But if I'm here next year doing it, we do that.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Because if I can't.
No, but I can live with it.
But if I can't, I think I'll be able to do it, but if it gets too much and I can't
Yeah.
Right.
do,
But right
Oh.
now, we're doing a budget based on,
that's true.
okay, never mind.
No, I can do it. I can figure that out and change it.
I don't really think it's that complicated.
You already approved the code enforcement budget.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
I know, we could go back and amend it though, but okay, never mind. Let's move on.
Okay. Yeah, I was just, it went up, the wages went up 13,000.
But we would,
Oh, okay.
we would still,
But we moved,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and we moved 8 from, okay, never mind. I'm
Okay.
good, I'm good.
I was just trying to lower the sticker shock on this one a little.
yeah, but if we just tell them all, it's all because we moved Phil from code enforcement, I mean, from assessor.
All right.
They'll be all right.
I mean, that's mostly what it is,
Right,
right?
you have to remember that it's a different budget committee.
Yeah,
Okay, let's go.
it is.
If they yell, we can do it then. Health insurance, the first 6 months is a known. The second 6 months. Nicole said to figure on a 10% increase for health and 3% for dental. And they said that
Wow.
last, it wasn't that high, but
Yeah.
eventually it might be.
10%'s high on health insurance. I mean, that it used to be in that range 15 years ago, but it hasn't been anywhere near that lately.
No, it hasn't. And usually she tells me around 7 or 8, but this year she said 10. So,
I think that's high.
well, we can gamble and change it, John.
I think that's high. I think we should be looking at 6. But if she says, never mind.
Yeah.
She's from MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, they must have some idea of why they're thinking that, right?
Yeah, but you said she's told you the last couple of years more than it ended up being, right?
Yeah. Last year it was only like a percentage difference. It wasn't that much.
Wow.
All right, okay. Leave it alone then.
and that's one of those numbers that's fairly easy to explain too.
Yeah.
Contract services,
Contract services.
audit went down. Ooh.
Why?
I don't know. That's why I asked her what it was, and that's what she said.
Or maybe it was last year's was high because of the 18 months. Is that maybe what it was?
No, we budgeted 1. We just approved more than she actually charged. No, this actual was 61 this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But previous years it was 56.
There's something seems fishy there.
Well, I'll double check with her. I'll go through my emails.
I bet it's because of the 18 month.
Yeah, she probably figures she's got it straightened out now. We're good. But I will double check that number.
Well, I'll tell you, she put a lot of work in the before you came back. I mean, we had like 4 versions and it was I'll just say it was difficult for her. I'll leave it at that.
She's a good sport. The copier consists of the lease for the one in the office. We pay $142.52 monthly. The copier right there, we pay $150 every 6 months for maintenance agreement. And then we have copier usage, which is approximately $206.39 every quarter, but we always go over. And I think partly of that is because when Kelsey and Owen did the copier, they didn't believe in printing things out, they believed in saving it, I believe in printing things out, I need to look at it, so.
Yeah.
So I added an extra $500 in there, because in case I don't want to break the budget going over things, but I don't know if that's why I can never find anything, is because they just saved it on the computer and didn't print it, or, but
That would be part of it, I think.
I like to have things hard copy in a file and on the computer. With no Island Road project going on, I thought our legal bills might go down, but I just left it at 5,000 because we're pretty much there as actuals now, but I mean,
we're still relying on her a lot for CEO stuff and other things.
and Trio.
Yeah, and we could be getting more CEO stuff too.
Trios, they increase every year. They're starting to push moving to the cloud. And until they get rid of SQL, I'm not going to the cloud. I don't want to move. Because every time they move, it just is a nightmare trying to get it all straightened out. So I'll let all the other towns go through all the trials and tribulations when it's perfect, and they say, no more, you have to move, we'll move.
Okay,
But I'm in no rush.
I support that.
The other programs are our backup, Microsoft, our emails.
Mhm.
I did lower tech support a little bit. I mean, I can't. They're very good when we call, they're not cheap, but we're not gonna spend the 8,000 that was budgeted before, so I think 5 is a good number.
Mhm.
I'm good.
Credit card fee is so that we can take people's debit and credit cards, and Zoom has increased to $15.99 a month instead of $14.99 a month.
I'm not questioning the amount, but do a lot of people use the credit card?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, yep.
A lot more, especially the younger kids, they don't carry cash, they don't carry check,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Okay,
They don't care that they pay more to do it.
No,
Yeah.
and then some people will pay their tax bill, like $6,000 or $7,000. Oh, I get points.
Yeah, but you
Yeah, you get 3%. Maybe you get 3% on your. That's a crazy reason for doing it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Or
it
I get
costs you
coupon miles.
Yeah. Yeah. Not bought into that. No, but
I get points, but I'm not gonna use it where I have to pay to use it.
Right. Yeah, I end up having to write checks for 3 of my kids because they just, neither my youngest son and my oldest daughter, they don't have a checking account.
Yeah,
And so I write the check, pull the money out of their account, or they somehow transfer it to me, and
Venmo it.
yeah, I told them I'm not doing that because the IRS is still wrestling with that. That might end up being a nightmare. Okay,
I gotta move it, guys.
okay. Yeah.
post office box fees have gone up,
And
and that's what Miss Sam says she figures it will be by next year. She's not happy about that.
So was last year the first year we didn't mail a town report?
Yes.
Did we get a lot of grief over that?
Some. Mostly the older people that expect it to come in the mail.
Right, but once you don't get it for a couple of years, you don't expect it.
Right.
I mean, is it worth? I mean, that was fairly expensive to mail that, right?
Yes.
the real expense was that we ended up printing more. So by not
Yeah.
mailing, cut down the
Right.
number. So we cut our printing in half.
Right, but exactly, but that's the next line, but
Right.
yeah, because we had the discussion that a lot of people just take it and throw it in the wastebasket.
Yeah.
So you think we survived that change, Terry?
Yep.
Okay. Do we really need $1,000 for workshops?
We don't have $1,000 workshops, that's for advertising.
No, it's
No,
No,
right?
But,
Down at the bottom?
down
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yes, well, I did this before Hannah was leaving. I wanted her to take a lot of classes. But no, we probably don't.
Well, but even if, you don't know that she's leaving, right?
No, she said she's coming back.
Yeah, so.
Just,
But even if even if she doesn't, you hire someone else,
Yeah, I would leave it.
yeah, I would too. There's nothing like good training. To save your money.
That covers the ones we take as well, right? That's,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. What's the equipment?
That is voting booths. This is my wish list.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
This might not be the year for it, but if not, I'd like to keep it on our radar that we be thinking about it. Part of it is, we don't have room in this room to have as many as we legally are supposed to have. I think I got it squeezed in here this last election, and it's only for the big elections that you're required to have one for every 200 people registered.
Hmm.
We're at 13 something, so we needed 7. But that won't come up again for, a little while, so we probably could put it off till
Put it in.
next year. But we really, the booths that we have are ones that I got free from some town on my Bangor. I drove up, they said, you come pick them up, you can have them, so I went and got them.
No,
Because those other ones were, those old metal ones, they
yeah,
look so horrible and they smell.
yeah.
Oh, and the old metal ones, I was afraid someone was gonna lose a finger. They were bad.
And on the listserv, and I called right away, she said, you drive up here and you can have them, so I did.
Well, Terry, if we can live with those for another year, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, we can, because we don't have one of the huge elections that we have to set up
That
all the
many.
booths, so I can live with that. Too.
I mean, there is quite a sticker shock on this budget, and I know you can explain it, but
Yeah,
so would that be the only change?
That's all I see.
So 304, 708.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion. We approve 304, 708.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
John?
Aye. Aye,
Yep.
John. I guess I'm supposed to say my name if I'm on remote, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm supposed to call your name and then you're supposed to say your name.
Oh,
All right,
where
capital.
are we going?
Capital idea.
and I do have something else to add to capital, just to throw out there. I know it's a bad year. Gus finally got back to me and about 7 of our computers should be replaced, he said. But he said the most important ones to replace would be the computers at the counter. And that would be about $3,000.
For one.
Well, there's the $3,000 we just cut.
But part of me thinks that's what this is for. Could we make it another year? And then we have even more older ones, but I don't know, it's,
I don't want to mess with the counter one.
How old are they?
they were purchased in,
Staffing. Oh, here.
they were purchased in 19. May of 19.
And this is the counter one?
This is the 2 at the counter, yeah.
Oh, so the three replace two at the counter or one?
2.
Oh. Could we just? Yeah. I mean, we gotta have the counters working, right?
And right now we've got what, 46,000 for the boiler.
I got a question about that. Have we had a thorough discussion about this? Do we need to go with a boiler? Could we go to heat pumps?
This is actually what, Jerry was promoting was propane. And he said there would be propane, there would be 3 of them, 3 units.
Oh, so they're not boilers.
No,
3,
didn't I write it in the notes, or did I just think I wrote it in the notes?
So boiler be replaced.
with a propane system, and that would have
With a
3
propane
boilers.
system.
Well, I'm sorry, that was my bad.
Well, it could be called a boiler if
It
it's
said boilers, but doesn't the boiler heat our hot water?
Yeah. It would be the hot water heat, right?
Yeah,
No,
but
no, our
would-
domestic hot water is, I think is heated off the boiler. So we'd have to have a hot water heater. If we went with heat pumps or something.
Well, they also have heat pump water heaters.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, we'd have to have some other means to heat the domestic hot water.
But a propane system might heat the hot water as well. So I think
Yeah,
what he's got in this is probably, matter of fact, with 3 of them, at least one of them is probably dedicated to hot water for the.
I think, you know, I'm okay to go ahead and sort of preliminary approve this and, you know, we can always negotiate or change it when we get to the budget committee. But I think we're gonna get a lot more information from what he's proposing.
Oh, yeah, he's supposed to be working on it. I just wanted to have something.
Yeah.
Out here.
So I mean, I guess with that in mind, I'll make a motion, we approve it with the understanding that we gotta firm this up as we go towards budget committee. I mean, but at least it gets us something printed and to the budget committee.
Is this where you wanted to add money for computers?
And you want to make it 49?
Yeah, I hadn't, yeah, sure. I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but I got a general question. We never had this capital account before. And we're not putting all our capital in there. We're just putting some of it in there. I personally would like to see us go back to the way we used to do it and just put it in whatever department it's attributable to. In this case, it would be building and grounds or administration. Because I mean, we don't, you know, we're doing the fire trucks. We didn't put that in there. That's certainly capital. We did an ambulance. We're doing road paving. That's capital. I had the same discussion last year and we said, let's talk about it next year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we
Yeah.
were gonna do it all, then fine. But I think people like to see what's the true cost of the fire department? What's the true cost of the buildings? What's the true cost of and I know there's 600 different ways you can allocate things. You could make the argument that, you know, the heat should be spread over the ambulance, the fire department, the administration, the CEO. But this just strikes me as an outlier that we throw a couple of things in here every year. And I personally would like to see us throw the 3,000 in the administration line and the 40,000 in building and grounds.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all.
I'm not either.
The only reason I liked it before is because every year I try to figure out where I'm gonna try to use surplus. And in my mind, capital is an automatic, comes from reserves or surplus, because it's a one-time cost. But
Yeah,
I can
that
pull,
doesn't- Right.
yeah, I can pull it from the individual ones. It was just easier to do it this way. And I don't know what, I'm not sure why Jan and Walter went to doing this unless, did they start doing it when they did the building repair? I think they started doing it when they did the building repair.
No, that was before.
Well, I
Well,
don't, I thought I came back to this. I had whatever you had, John, whatever you had set up, John.
Yeah, I mean, the original chart of accounts that, I mean, there was one that Carolyn had. And then Barbara and I set up kind of this one, but it's morphed over the years. But I guess do I need a motion to put that back or can we agree on it?
I think I'm willing to agree on
Yep.
it.
Yeah, agree
Okay.
on.
Do you want me
All
to put it for equipment or do you want a capital line under the?
No, I mean, I wouldn't go that far because a lot of stuff's capital. I mean, I just put under equipment and most equipment's capital.
Okay. I can do that.
Plus it's one less sheet.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion, will you approve $49,000, adding 3,000 to administration under equipment and 46,000 under building and grounds under equipment.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All those-
Just Terry, make sure you list that's for the boiler replacement, separate, in a separate line. Yeah, okay.
How much do we have in the building reserve?
No,
Quite a
there's-
bit. But yeah, I was thinking we might be able to fund some of it from that. I also think we might be able to get a grant.
Does that efficiency main?
Yeah,
do they
I didn't
do-
want to get in. I didn't want to get into that tonight because I'm down to 15 minutes, but I think we could.
Do they do propane? Or do they just do heat pump?
No, I think they do. I think they base it on an improvement over your existing system.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, but I think we need to budget for it because that may be reimbursement or whatever,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, like a rebate.
Okay, so we want to do revisit fire.
Yeah. We have a new total?
We do.
We have a new total?
Yes.
Fire?
Just rolling through. If I scroll too fast, I miss it. Okay, the total I have is 145,596.
One?
145,596.
Can you run down what the changes were?
Yes, he changed the training to.
No, right from the beginning. We
Right.
increased David's chief's wage, right?
11,515.
What is it?
11,515.
11,515, thank you. Nothing else changed up there, right?
Training is 12,960.
Yeah,
He broke out the 18,157 to.
Yeah.
So FICA is 3,881.
yeah.
I don't think did he change anything in contracted services?
Fire pond maintenance.
Right, he took out fire pond maintenance.
Right, because we were
So
gonna
that's
take it
zero.
from reserve.
There was something
And
else.
the hydro test I had at 1,020.
Yes. There was something else I
Right.
took out.
The sled that he was gonna get that we. put
Oh,
in,
yes.
and then he took that out.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't in there to begin
Right,
with, so.
Yeah,
I changed the Verizon phone to 2412 instead of 3,000.
Yeah, okay.
The dues, he didn't change any, he just wrote what they're for.
Okay, but the dollars were the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we didn't change anything.
I thought the turnout gear changed, didn't it?
Yeah, that changed to 6,200 from 5,000.
That's what my notes show.
Yep.
And then for some reason, I got a note here of adding 3,500 under the, I don't know if I put it in the exhaust
we-
system line.
Then we crossed it out. I crossed it out and said taking from reserve, but I'm not sure what it was for.
It was for
We need
the
this-
sled.
The fast,
Oh, the sled.
yeah,
Ah, okay. All right, I just penciled it in there. Okay, and that comes to 145,596.
Correct.
So before I make a motion, Jeff, I just want to talk with you about this. We were thinking about appropriating the 63,000 this year because we're supposed to spend it on the fire trucks. But it may make more sense to put it into the reserve and not include it in this budget because for two reasons. One is the trucks there's a possibility the trucks don't come this year.
right.
I think that's remote. But the other reason is I think it sort of alleviates the sticker shock a little bit on this.
Yes, I agree.
So I think we should just leave it in the reserve and the town's already approved spending that out of there. So,
Yep, I agree.
okay. So I can't remember if I made a motion or not.
Not yet.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the fire department budget in the amount of 145,596. Is that correct?
Correct. I'll second that motion.
Okay, moved and seconded, and any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
John,
John, I.
Jeff, I. Good. And I think that finishes everything. So you
Don't we have some more reserves?
Oh, we talked about them, but I'm not positive.
Oh, yeah, I put money into something that, the recreation reserve, did we talk about that?
Well, we also have the building reserve we didn't talk about.
Oh,
No.
good point.
And I can't seem to get the line straight here.
Yeah, I think, let's see, oh, reeval reserve, we didn't talk about
Yeah,
that. either.
reval reserve, we didn't talk about that.
But I think
Town
reeval and building reserve,
And the cemetery reserve trust. I don't know why that says trust.
I don't know, I can take trust off.
yeah.
It's not really a trust. Building reserve
So building reserve,
and
Five.
recreation.
got 5,000 for building
If
reserve.
you put money in though, would you be able to take money out for the boiler if we needed it?
We can in execution, we just can't in. Yeah, we can't add to it if we're planning to take from, if we're planning to take from
But if it just happens.
it. Right. If we get into execution, we need to use the reserves,
Okay.
we can.
Recreation, we put up to 10,000.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
recreation.
Yeah,
10,000. And reeval is 10,000. Well, and I do think we ought to fund that.
yeah, I think we got it too. But I think we should hold off on anything until this market volatility settles out, assuming it ever does.
Yeah, and that's something else I'd like to check into. My understanding on when we're different from what the state valuation is, that we don't get a penalty on our veterans or our homesteads until we reach a trigger point, and I thought it was either 86 or 90%. And when we had the meeting with Gordon, that's what they believed, that
Yeah.
they said 90%, because they have not had a hit. And they are at
They're
90%.
higher, yeah.
So they're further out of whack than we are, and they are not getting a decrease in their homestead or their veterans. And we did at 96%. So
Yeah, I suggest you call the Department of Revenue Property Tax Division, and I think they can walk you right through it.
okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'll do
that's the place to go. It's in administration and finance, Department of Administration and Finance. I think it's Revenue Services Property Tax Division or something like that.
yeah, and my gut feeling is that something we filed triggered us to get the lower rates.
I think you're right.
And I don't think we should have gotten the decreases, but I'll
And they might even correct it.
yep. Okay, so are we good with